uns hier an unserer kleinen
Our
Switch-Booth.
state-of-the-art
Neben mir
blade
sitzt
server
JF,
farms offer unparalleled
Jean-Francois,
security in a world that's
and I'm
teeming
gonna
with
switch to English now.
Safeguarded by
Would
the
you
most
kind of
advanced physical
introduce
and
yourself? What are
digital
you doing?
security
What's your
systems
position
in the world?
at
The data
Deus
you
Ex
store at the
Mankind
Power
Divided?
State
I'm the executive game director for the franchise, but I'm also the game director of Mankind Divided and Human Revolution.
So you're a very, very important person.
I don't know if I'm important, but I'm there from start to finish.
Yeah, right. I'm very happy you have some time for us. My first question is not quite about the game, but it's similar. Your title is Mankind Divided.
Yes.
Right now, in reality, mankind seems quite divided.
Yes.
So, is there anything we can take from the game that might give us something, you know?
Well,
Anything you've learned while producing the game about mankind?
well,
Quite a lot, I guess.
you always learn from life in general, and what we were doing with Mankind Divided, it's a direct sequel to Human Revolution, and for us, it was kind of a natural progression, like, because in the first game in Human Revolution, we were exploring all the benefits of augmentations, what they can bring to humanity and everything. And one of the underlying questions that was in the last game, but we were not fully exploring, it was like, what if things go south? What if things go wrong? Like, how humanity will be affected? And that's what we do with Mankind Divided. And now it's a world that has more division. And it's a coincidence with the real world, because we started to build the game a while ago. And when you look at what's going on in the world in 2 last years, we were like, oh my God, like what we're doing is kind of similar to what's going on in the world. But it was not inspired by what's going on right now, because we were already on that track, but there are a lot of similarities. Yes.
So, what's your personal take on the future of mankind? Do you think it's a game that's going to be
Prophetic?
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Well, hopefully that augmentations are going to allow us to be everything we want to be.
That's a given. That's going to happen.
It needs to happen. After that, the rest hopefully will stay in the fictional world.
You have an augmented person in your booth, I've heard.
Yes.
So you got a guy who can use his mechanical arm like a regular arm.
Yeah, it's a partnership with Open Bionics, and they developed this cybernetic arm that actually they built the Adam Jensen arm, and there's this guy that works. He has it fully installed on his the remaining of his arm, and he can really move his fingers and everything. It's quite impressive to see in action.
That's quite fascinating. I've heard you had to like dump it down because you were afraid it's going to hurt someone if he pushes too hard. Stuff like that. That's what I've been told.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's possible.
But it's possible that he could hurt someone if you don't.
Well, you can
act
build
responsible.
And actually, when you think about that, people are starting to build those prosthetics. But right now, they're just trying to mimic a real arm. But tomorrow, when that is done, that is mastered, what's going to be the next step? Now you're going to pimp up your arm, you're going to bring it to the next level, and probably it's going to be stronger, it's going to be plugged with some cool devices or whatnot. And actually, I think it's going also to influence fashion.
People will want it to be stronger than a regular arm. Of course, I would want it too. Yeah. Which body part would you like to have augmented? And please don't say penis. Because we're on Twitch, it's not.
I mean, we're in 21st century, guys, and I think we should move beyond the penis thing, right?
Why? Well, yeah, you're totally right, we should. But would you actually cut a limb?
No.
Who would do that?
No, some people will. I think some people would do it the same way some people will slice their tongue in two. Like some people will have like the big earrings, like you know, that kind of stuff. So it's body modification for art purpose or for self-identification, whatever it is. And I think with prosthetics, one day we're going to see the same thing, like someone that will deliberately have a limb severed and plug something artificial because they will be able to bring it to another level.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be the new punk. It's going to be the cyberpunks, basically. It's a.
One last question, then we'll talk about the game. But where does it stop? I mean, at which point are you no longer human? I mean, that's kind of point in the game as well, I guess.
It's a very personal answer, but
yeah,
I think
what would be your personal answer to this?
I believe we have a soul. I believe we have something more than just the flesh, and hopefully, like, even though you replace an arm and it's mechanical, probably will change the way you interact with the world. But you're still a human with your own judgment. You're still someone that has the capability to understand what's right, what's wrong, and have your own moral code and whatnot. So I do believe that what makes us human, it's our ability to think beyond the basic needs and the basic kind of survival things, you know.
And that's quite a good baseline to get into the game.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of us have played the last part. Many have played the original.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about the new one? What's the groundbreaking storyline this time?
Well, Mankind Divided, like I was saying, it's the direct sequel to Human Revolution, but this time around, we really wanted to beef up the experience in terms of combat. Like, we wanted to make it more on par with the stealth. Like in the last game, people were praising the stealth, but they were saying, you know what, combat was kind of disappointing.
And they were hating the boss fights.
I never heard that.
Never. Where?
Who says that?
Who's that person?
Who's that person? I want to meet that person.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you changed that, and you changed a lot
absolutely.
as well.
Yeah.
What do you change?
Of course, the boss fights are not an issue anymore. We beefed up the combat experience to make it more fluid, more dynamic, more visceral. We introduced the gun arms that allows you to go with your weapons, and you can go in the 1-2 punch and with your gun arm, nano blades, the Peps gun, the Tesla gun kind of thing. We have like the Titan shield augmentation that transforms you almost literally like a tank, so you can go in the middle of the fray and take a lot of damage without dying. We have other things like the Icarus Dash that allows you to go from A to B super fast, or like really ram into someone and knock him down. And it also serves for exploration, for verticality as well. Speaking of which, we also push for vertical level design and everything. And also it adds a lot of dynamism to the combat, because it's not just enemies in front of you. They can be above or below, and it changes a little bit the battlefield. We also added other augmentations, like I have a memory blank right now because I was thinking about verticality, but we have a different augmentation for life, for also for batteries to use more your augmentations, etc. So the goal with this game was really to make sure that all the players would find their way of playing and be good at it. Like, it shouldn't feel like, oh, this game wants me to play stealth. This game wants you to play the way you want. Of course, it's still tactical combat. If you just go, you have no augmentations, you don't have the right tool, and you just go in the middle of everything and try to shoot, you're going to die for sure. You still have to be smart about how you approach things, but now you have the means to really go more aggressive and play the way you want, way more than the first time around.
Yeah, that's what all the franchise is all about. I mean, just choose your way, do whatever you want, play tactical, play aggressive. How hard is it to develop a game and in particular a level set, while knowing that most of the players would want to be an action guy? Or is that a wrong assumption?
Well, we when we start to build a game, since we have 4 gameplay pillars, we have combat, stealth, hacking, and social, and we know that we have to support those things.
I'm gonna start a new trailer to show what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We have another one, aggressive stealth. That's
Something
more
like
like
that.
it. Yeah.
Bam. So the way we build the game is that we know that we have those pillars, and combat and stealth are the primary pillars. And no matter which map you are, what is the challenge, we know that you have to be able to do it stealthy or combat. So we're building the maps with the team. Everybody in the team knows that principle. So we always move forward with that in mind. But sometimes it's funny. And as we develop the maps, sometimes you have a level designer that has more kind of a bias towards stealth, or one has a bias towards action. And when you play their maps, well, if I'm a stealthy player, I have no way to hide, no way to recover, or things like that. And we talk with the people, and we make sure we iterate to make sure that the maps are really well balanced to support both styles. And we just go through iterations until it feels right. And both modes are supported. And the hacking, it's the third pillar that is supported through most of the maps for more exploration, helping you out, finding alternate routes, things like that. And social, it's not always there, but it needs to make sense. When you go behind enemy line, there are not much possibilities for social. So we have to...
Depends on your looks, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. You go in front of an enemy. Hey, look at me. Come on.
You're gonna
you're going to like this.
You're gonna show some legs.
Augmented legs. Yeah.
Was it hard to get used to the new engine? You're using a new engine, right?
Yes, we're with the Dawn engine now. It's a switch that we made after Human Revolution. And of course, with every engine switch, it always takes more time than what we thought. Like, we thought we would ship this game earlier, but going to a new technology, it's a new set of challenges, new tools to develop, making sure that we were able to rebuild Human Revolution in this and then go beyond. And so it takes time, you know.
What is the feeling when you get a new engine? Is it like Christmas, or is it like the worst day of your life? Oh no, I don't want to change. Everything works. Never change a running system. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. It's always a mixed bag in the sense that it's exciting because of the new possibilities and working with a new engine that we're building almost from the ground up and tailored for what we're doing. So you can see the full potential, but where it's getting sometimes frustrating is that as we build it and we build a game, for a long time the engine is going to be unstable, and it's going to be slow to build the maps, to build the experience. It's going to crash often, things like that.
Yeah.
And it takes a while before it gets to maturity, that now it's really stable, you're able to work efficiently, and you're producing the content you want to produce. So there's this step, and now we're at a point where it's getting more mature and everything, and we're able to finish the game, to close the game, and ship the game soon.
Yeah, more is a good point. You're adding more and more to the game.
Yeah.
You added a new game mode called Breach.
Absolutely.
I've seen it on your booth. You got a trailer running.
Yeah.
I got a trailer right here. Maybe I'm gonna show it. Oh, it hasn't even reached the end yet. I don't care. I'm gonna show Breach. So what are you going to tell us about that? It looks quite fascinating. It doesn't look like the game at all.
No.
It looks more like a virtual reality version of the game.
Yeah, because we love black and gold, but we ran out of black and gold pixels, so we had to change it.
They all used up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, most people would just use the regular engine and say it's okay, it works.
Yeah.
But you spend your way, you did something completely different.
Yeah, it's always something that we like to do internally as a team. We're always saying we want to break expectations, and breaking expectations, it can be in many ways, and definitely nobody saw Breach coming, and a lot of people are like, kind of thing, and like WTF, but in a good way. Actually, the reaction is good, and for us, it was our own take on the gameplay pillars of Deus Ex, and we wanted to do something more arcade-ish, faster, funnier, like just a different spin. And there's still
we're going to see it. Yeah.
We're going to see it like
that's the transition, and that's actually Breach.
Exactly.
It looks awesome. It kind of looks freaky, Tron-like.
Yeah.
It looks like, I imagine, a sophisticated virtual reality computer system.
That's exactly what it is. Actually, it's a virtual reality data server where a lot of corporations are storing their data, the personal information. Exactly. And the Rippers, who are the hackers in that world that are getting in that virtual reality world, they're kind of the digital era Robin Hoods. They're trying to expose the truth, making sure that all those corporations are not getting away with like bullshit crap and
Yeah, so you're like a sci-fi whistleblower.
Bam, that's it.
That's quite an interesting take on it.
And what is cool also about that is the fact that we have kind of a social component in which you're able to challenge your friends. Like, you're able to take some the maps and add modifiers to them and send it to a friend. And if the friend accepts the challenge, if he beats the challenge, he gets the point. and he climbs into the leaderboard. But if he fails, you get the points, and you climb in the leaderboard. So it's really interesting. It's still single player, but kind of with a social component where you can challenge your friends, the leaderboard, and all these things. And it's also our first live mode, because we're going to always analyze the data we receive as players are playing, so we'll be able to adapt on the fly to change or balance the game if it needs to be balanced. And also, since it's a live mode, we'll continue to add content after the release of the first bunch of maps.
Okay. How important are social features right now in games?
Well, I think it depends what kind of game you're making, right? When I look at the campaign mode for Mankind Divided, for us, it's primarily a single-player experience. So I compare it to when I sit down and I read a book. I don't read a book with my friends. You won't read the first paragraph and me the second. You know.
Yeah, no, never happened.
It never happened. So,
because nobody reads. Yeah, but you're right.
I forgot we're in the 21st century. You're right.
What? Snapchat is a new book.
But me, I still read. So Mankind Divided, it's more like a book. And now with the breach mode, it was a way for us to try something new. It still has a narrative layer. You'll be able to find some conspiracies in the servers. You hack, you infiltrate, and everything. But it's primarily somewhere where you can have fun with your friends and brag and try to challenge each other, which is cool. So for us, it was a way to try something new, a first foray in something that we usually don't do. Yeah.
So when you're talking about your legacy, I mean, there's the last Deus Ex. There's going to be that one. There should be another one. I've heard it's planned as a trilogy, right? I've heard that. Let's just say it's a trilogy. So
well, it's the first time I hear it. It's good to know that there'll be another one.
I don't believe you at all. You're a dirty little liar. One question: is there any connection between the original 15 years ago and the storyline you're creating now?
Yes, there are. Like, for example, when you look at Breach mode or even Mankind Divided, Versa Life is part of that world, and it was part of the original game as well. We have the people in the shadows, the Illuminati. A lot of them are part of what were in the original game. Like, for example, Bob Page was in Urine Revolution. Bob Page is coming back in the new game as well. So there are some connections across the different games. So, but I'm not going to go too much in details because the fun it's playing it and discovering it by yourself, right?
Is that harder to implement storylines from another game, you know, stuff that didn't belong to you from the start?
Well,
I mean, it's like a legacy as well.
Yeah, but at the same time for us, we look at it, we totally build a brand new storyline, right? And what is important, we were not like, oh my God, this character exists, that storyline exists, what we're building. No, we build our own vision of that world. And after that, as we build the story beats and our own experience for whether it's Human Revolution or Mankind Divided, we're looking into how these things are tying up with the other games. And now with Mankind Divided, it's not just tying up to the original Deus Ex, it's also tying up with Human Revolution. So there's more to that and to some of the books, or we have the Fall, the iOS game that we did for iPad, etc.
Deus Ex Go, right?
No, I was referring to Deus Ex the Fall, but now.
But you're actually going to
now we have now we have Deus Ex Go that has just been announced too, so it's really cool. I've been annoying the guys at Eidos Montreal to have the X Go for a while already, so they finally listen, or I like to think that they listen.
Yeah, me too. And my job, me too.
That's it.
So one more philosophical question. What's going to be the biggest problem in the future? AIs, augmentations, or mega corporations?
All of the above.
That's the easy way out, yeah, I guess.
All of the above.
So what's going to be the first big problem? I mean, that's all stuff that's coming. Elon Musk is talking about AI. Augmentations are on their way. Mega corporations are already there.
Yes. Mega corporation. That is already done. It's covered. We're good. We're good.
Okay, we got on that one.
The next one, I do believe it's augmentations in the sense that It's already there. It's already happening, and it's moving at lightning speed in terms of progress. And now we see some prosthetics that are really, really advanced and everything. And then AI, it's still progressing phenomenally fast, but at the same time, before we get to the point where we believe that the person talking to us, it's not a computer, it's a real someone. I think we still have a stretch because there's an uncanniness, like there's just these little things that us as human beings we're going to catch up on that it's really hard to get rid of from an AI standpoint. So I do believe that AI is going to take a little bit more time, even though it's today it's already amazingly insane. But even like you look at the Google car, like they might not commercialize that before 10 or 10 years or maybe more, like just because of the laws, because of all the conditions. Now they're testing in California, it's all good, but when it's winter time, when there's like a shitty storm, when there are all those things, when those cars are going to be among the people, among the other cars driven by people, yes, the computer can analyze a lot of data, but human beings like suddenly can turn right or left unpredictably, and how you cope with that. So I think there are still some hurdles to be won over before it can be the next big thing. So I think prosthetics are going to be the next one.
Quite interesting. I find your perspective quite interesting because you're developing a game that is about future technologies, so you have to know your stuff.
We're watching what's going on in the world. We read books, we watch documentaries, so we try to stay as thorough as possible. But at the same time, it's important to have fun, and it's a fictional world, so we do the anticipation, but we're trying to give a very exciting experience to the players. So.
You're totally free to get some liberties in developing the future tech, of course. But what's in your opinion, from the stuff you've learned about technology that exists today, what is the most interesting fact that people aren't aware of? Or maybe there isn't, and maybe we already know everything.
It's a very good question because when we started to work on the Deus Ex franchise, like it was amazing to see all those the work that was going into the prosthetics, into all those those transhumanist technologies, and I think today there are still things I'm not aware of that are actually happening, and that maybe next year or in a year or 2 years from now that we're going to start to hear about, and maybe we're going to explore in some of our products or not. But from my perspective, like it's what amazes me today. It's not like the thing that people don't know about. It's more how much. When we started in 2007, we were like, okay, the game of Human Revolution is 2027. We were wondering how much real life would be there in 27. We were like, maybe we're too fast, or maybe it's totally the opposite. And now we're in 2016, and you almost have like a fully functional Adam Jensen arm in reality, and it's kind of scary because we're still like more than 10 years ahead of Human Revolution. It's already happening. So I think for me, what is really fascinating technology-wise is the fact that it's happening much sooner than what we believe in the first place.
That I want to talk about that. One more question. Are you afraid, or were you afraid during the development, and even just for a second, that one time in the near or not so near future, life is going to imitate art? That someone is inventing something he has seen in your game, or maybe that's coming like as an inspiration from your game. Maybe the worst parts, you know.
Actually, for us, it's already been happening. Like when we shipped Human Revolution, of course, now the people in the world had the chance to experience this game, and you would be surprised. We received a lot of letters, a lot of nice words from the fans, and some like really touching ones where there was this guy or a girl, I can't remember, several years ago, and that person said to us like, well, after playing, before playing your game, like I was really confused about my future, about what I wanted to do, what was my purpose in this world. And he said, after playing your game, it made me realize I want to help people.
That's awesome.
And when that person said that, and he said, I'm starting to study in medicine and to be a doctor or something like that, to do good and help people and everything. And you read that and you're like, oh my goodness, like it makes you realize, okay, this is why we're doing what we're doing. Because when you see that you're motivating or you're giving inspiration to people to find their own ways in life. I mean, when we do what we do it with our heart and soul. We try to make the best product we can. We put a lot of love into it because we love what we do and we want people to really enjoy what we build for them. But when people take it to the next level like that, for us, it's a tremendous gift. It's really incredible. Yeah.
So your work is inspiring people. By which work were you and your team inspired by? I mean, you talked about books, of course.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you can tell us about? Or is it just too much stuff?
There's plenty. Like we get inspired by a lot of stuff, and actually, we get more inspired by the world than, let's say, video games. Of course, we look at other video games like any other devs, but the real world inspires us a lot. Art inspires us. Fashion inspires us. What goes on in the scientific world inspires us. What goes into politics, into world economy, all those things inspires us. A lot of work of fictions, whether it's books, graphic novels, TV series, movies like Ghost in the Shell, of course, Matrix, the Blade Runner, like the typical ones, but there are also other gems that inspire us. Like, for example, I always say Professor Layton on the Nintendo DS inspires me in my work on Deus Ex, which has nothing to do. There are some animes, I can't remember the name right now, that I've watched that was really inspiring. It was not Cowboy Bebop, it was something else, I can't remember, but basically we get inspired by a lot of things. What is really important is stay sharp and really looking at the world outside and not just sitting down and looking at what you like and staying there. You have to challenge yourself to learn new things, and then we bring that into what we do in some ways, in some capacities.
And it looks like you're succeeding in that. I got one more trailer to go. That is about Open Bionics. I'm not quite sure I've seen that yet. Maybe you can tell us something about what we're seeing.
Well, right now we're seeing the Deus Ex Universe logos. Well,
okay,
it's the cybernetic arm that we. It's a partnership that we did with Open Bionics, a UK-based company that are developing prosthetics for people who need them, and we partner with them to build Adam Jensen's arm.
Is he the guy that's at your booth?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah, and he has this arm and everything.
And how cool is that? Yeah. That you're able to give someone his arm back.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like a real arm or not like that arm.
But it's a first step, and that's
unbelievable.
The thing. That's the thing is that it's a first step. Like it's an intermediary step for Open Bionics. They're already always pushing. Yeah. And for the Adam Jensen arm, it's going to be open source. We're going to release the blueprints to the public, so they will be able to build their own arms, and the blueprints are going to be available for kids, women, and men. So it's going to be really for everyone, and people are going to be able to take that technology and try to bring it to the next level and make it really, really impactful, you know.
Yeah, it looks quite.
And we have two versions of that. We're going to have the arm of Adam Jensen. It's going to replicate it. And we have another one that it's more artsy, like more into the thematic of Deus Ex in general, with all those shapes.
Do you think in 50 years, augmentations are going to be like a kind of fashion? Like an item I think you have to show off?
I think it's going to be before that. I think you see there was a TED Talk with a woman that she lost her leg. I can't remember her name, Laura. Anyway, it evades me right now, but she has those prosthetics. And what she was basically saying, yeah, she can change her heights anytime she wants because she can change the prosthetic she can change the look of them.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, the color can be matching what
and we're back at the penis. We're back at the penis joke.
Not yet.
It's in my head right now. I mean, the joke.
Yeah, the joke.
Nothing else.
It wasn't in my head.
Keep talking. I'm sorry. I didn't want to disturb you. I had to get that out.
But yeah, you're going to be able to put a color that fits with the clothing you have, anything. And I think it's going to be part of a big part of fashion very, very, very soon. And I think sooner than what we think. So I think it would be also a way, like tattoos are today for people. Everybody gets tattoos. Like today, being original is not having tattoos because like when you want to be like a rebel, it used to be tattoos. But now if you want to be a rebel, screw tattoos.
Yeah. You got one chance to never get a tattoo.
That's it. And the next thing, like with prosthetics like that, some people are going to start to look really, really cool. And you're going to see the first ones that are going to say, duck it, I'm going to have some of those prosthetics for myself.
I mean, the interesting part about that is you're able to go beyond human human form.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, I have no idea what I would love to have instead of a hand.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are some augmentations that would be great for other jobs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a microphone for me.
Yeah.
Just like that. I always have my microphone ready, no problem at all.
And for me, it would be the brain chip because I'm getting old and I'm forgetting a lot of stuff all the time. So if I can have some sort of internal Wikipedia of my own life and all the things, and it's recorded, and, well, you said that. Wait a second. No, I never said that, man.
A whole new era of correcting people.
Yeah, and see, I would have my chip to learn German, like, in 5 minutes and talk to you in German.
There are so many possibilities. I mean, that's what I love about your game. It's not only a great game about different play styles with an RPG element to it, a great story. I mean, it makes your mind wander, and not so many games
do that,
and or try that.
Yeah, and that's why, like the open Bionics thing, for us it was a way to bring the fiction of Deus Ex into the real world, like showing that Deus Ex, it's fiction, of course, it's all a made-up story, and we're having fun with that. But it's to say that what we do in our games, it's kind of bleeding in the real world, and it's like a lot of those things are happening for real. So Deus Ex is not just a fictional piece of work, it's also a part of what the future holds for us.
That's very inspiring. Everything you said is very inspiring. I got only one last question. Will there be a big head mode? And will there be a lava level?
Company's files contain valuable proprietary information with
I'm not going to answer that.
That's a yes. There's going to be a big head mode in the lava level. You heard it first here at Twitch. And I'm great that you found the time to be here.
My pleasure, man.
If you give me a game, if you give me a Kia, I'm gonna play the shit out of it.
Perfect.
I'm gonna promise you that.
Perfect.
Thank
awesome,
you, Jeff.
Thank you, my
And
pleasure.
have a nice day here.
You too. Cheers.
Das war's, Leute. Wir sagen jetzt Tschüss. Ich weiß gar nicht, ob wir noch drauf sind. Ich nehme an, jetzt vielleicht nicht mehr. Es war ein wunderschönes Interview. Wir müssen aber weitermachen. Und ja, hier geht's dann nachher natürlich weiter mit noch mehr Gästen, noch mehr Spielen, noch mehr Interviews und vielem anderen Kram wie dem hier. Tschüss.